how to talk with your children. Canadian artist Doris McCarthy, bringing new life to old warships. Getting a charge out of your car battery. And delicious chickpea soup. Hi, welcome to Canadian Living TV. I'm Samantha Houston. Did you know that babies begin communicating in utero and that responses from mom and dad are vital to growth and development right from day one? Things like slowing your speech patterns down and allowing your baby to initiate their version of conversation are very important. Speech therapist Paula Moss has more good advice now.
Many parents express concerns that their child's speech and language development may not be coming along as quickly as it should be. As children do acquire speech and language at different rates, it is often difficult for parents to know when to be concerned, if it is a problem, and where to go for help. One of the most common problems that parents have is thinking that their child will grow out of it and waiting too long to get help. Children are communicating long before words appear. A couple of important things to look for are that your child is able to imitate and engage in simple play activities with you. You should see lots of facial expressions, and they should be using lots of body language and gestures, such as playing pat a cake, waving bye-bye, in order to communicate with you. A common mistake parents make is talking too quickly to their children. So one thing you can do to help your child learn to talk is to get down to their level and to use slow, simple, clear language when talking with them. Another way is to look at books together or to play interactive games such as peekaboo and other games that involve listening and taking turns. A third way is to let the child lead the conversation and to talk about things the child is interested in, expanding on their ideas versus pressuring them to talk about what is interesting to you. If you are concerned about your child's language development, you could consult your family doctor or pediatrician, and he will help you get the services you need. A couple of milestones to be aware of are, first words usually go hand in hand with first steps. By 2 years, your child should have lots of single words and be starting to put two words together. And by 3 years, your child's speech should be starting to get clearer. But the most important thing is to have lots of fun talking together with your child, because the rewards for both of you are wonderful.
And by 4, they should be talking back to you real nice. In a moment, great Canadian painter Doris McCarthy joins us in studio.
Canadian Living TV, brought to you by Lysol Disinfectant Spray.
On CTV is brought to you in part by nature-made vitamins and herbs for people who take their health seriously.
Hi, welcome back. Doris McCarthy is an accomplished Canadian landscape artist, a student of the Group of 7, and a wise teacher to anyone who loves to paint or anyone who will stop to listen. Welcome to Canadian Living TV. Thank you very much for being here. It's a real honor for me to have you here. Are you working on anything these days, Doris?
I'm always working on something.
You exhaust me, you know that?
Well, I exhaust many people.
Do you?
My friends fall around me.
Good for you.
Limp.
Good for you. And are your friends also your age? Are they 87? I imagine you exhaust.
I have friends that are older than me, and I have friends that are younger than me, and I keep on making new friends.
Good for you. And at 87, you're still lecturing students, are you?
I'm not teaching formally. I'm talking about art, talking about my own art, showing slides of my own art. I have a talk called The Artist's Eye, which people enjoy because it tells them about the landscape that excites me and what I did with the landscape to turn it into art. And that's new to many people.
Sure. Let's go back to when you went to college to study art, because although it's natural talent, there is some studying that is required, really, to sort of fine-tune your own natural skill. Really, that's sort of been your philosophy, that you're always learning as you go. And are you still learning at this age?
I am indeed. I had a real jump last summer when I was painting and realized that I had moved a step differently.
You're kidding.
And I'm really excited about what I've learned last summer and what I can hardly wait to get going again.
Good. Well, I'm anxious to see. Can we talk about this first painting? Because we've been sort of talking over it for the last few minutes. Tell me about this. This is an oil
That's a
painting?
painting of the Badlands out in southern Alberta. It's an area of great erosion. It's very bizarre and very interesting. It's Dinosaur Provincial Park.
Yes.
And the mountains there are not high. They're quite small, but the feeling of it is vast. And I love painting in that area.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw your film, Heart of a Painter, and I think you actually feature the Badlands in that, don't you?
In that film, they actually did some of the filming in that same park.
Yeah, it's a very unusual, and your landscape, this is what you love to do. Do you focus on any other subject beside landscape?
Well, I do a lot of liturgical art.
Do you?
But the most of my work is landscape.
And that's what everyone loves to see, too. Can we go to the painting that's just to the left of our couch? It's this one over here that's on the table. Doris, tell us about this one here. It looks like a beach
That's
somewhere.
Georgian Bay.
Oh.
And those are the rocks of Georgian Bay. My friend Virginia Luz, who was my colleague at Central Tech when I was teaching,
Yeah.
and I share property up at Georgian Bay. And so I spend almost every summer up there painting canvases of the work that I have done during the spring when I was off on a painting trip, or painting the rocks right around Georgian Bay.
Tell us about I'd love to hear about your teachers at the Art College of Ontario. I know that you had a very famous teacher, didn't you?
Well, Arthur Lismer was my inspiration.
Yes,
J.E.H. MacDonald was the principal of the college when I was there, and he was a dear man. I think that, I don't know that I learned a lot from Lismer, but I was inspired by Lismer.
I was going to say, certainly his influence rubbed off probably on you and several of his other very gifted students, because I see the group of 7. I see traces of their work in yours as well. Are you offended when other people compare your work to group of 7?
No, I think it's perfectly natural.
Yeah.
It's the first step that I took was with the group of 7.
So you haven't traveled too far from your original place, which I think is a good thing.
I went in a big circle. I went. I had a cubistic stage and a found art stage and a color field. I experimented with all those when I was teaching, because it was important to teach senior painting students something about the fashions, and I couldn't teach it without experimenting with it myself.
Certainly.
And digesting it. And it has influenced my work since then.
Can you tell me about the glaciers that are down here? That's a beautiful, beautiful painting.
Well, I have done a great deal of work in the high Arctic. The first year that I stopped teaching, I went up to the high Arctic and I was captured by it. I loved it. And I've been back probably about 12 or 13 times.
You have.
And so I met icebergs up there, and icebergs have become an obsession of mine. I paint icebergs whether I'm in the high Arctic or whether I'm up at Georgian Bay in my own studio or whether I'm at home here. I'm capable of painting icebergs anywhere.
Just out of memory or from photographs you've taken, or how do you do that?
It has become a creative, imaginative thing, really.
Good for you.
I mean, I learned on real icebergs, but since then...
And you've studied them enough to know. Let's talk about this picture here. This is not on canvas, this is on paper.
That's a lithograph, which is done from sketches that I made down in the Antarctic. A few years ago, I went down to the Antarctic to see how it compared with the high Arctic.
Was there a difference?
Oh, very different. Not nearly as friendly. It's formidable country.
Really?
It's quite alarming, and there are no settlements there. You have to either live in a research station or stay on a ship.
Yeah.
But so it has penguins, and the penguins are such fun.
Oh, no, that would be wonderful. And this piece of art? This looks like a work in progress right here.
That's the last piece of art that I have tackled. It's the bluffs, Scarborough Bluffs, quite near where I live. And it's unfinished. I did that one morning, and I brought it home, but there needs to be some resolution. I need to revise this and do that, a little bit of this and that and stuff.
And is that sort of your technique, to sort of do an initial painting and then to go home and to take a look and then to re-examine and then to finish it on your own?
You never finish a painting until you have lived with it.
Okay.
This is Newfoundland, which is another area where I have painted a great deal. I've painted right across Canada from east to west. In Newfoundland, when I'm down there, the enchanting thing is the little villages and the houses on the rocks and the people. My emphasis there is far more about people than it is when I'm out in the Rockies or in the Badlands or in the Arctic.
I asked Doris earlier if I could have a painting, and she wasn't big on that. But she did tell me that she has a wonderful gallery in Toronto on 80 Spadina Street. So if you're ever in Toronto and you want to see wonderful art, and are you at the gallery? Can we come and meet you as well?
Come next March when I'm having my solo show. It's Winnipeg.
Yeah.
4th floor of 80 Spadina. There'll be mobs there. You'll meet all your friends.
Oh, good.
And it's great.
You know what? You're a charming woman. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thanks, Doris. And up next, the story of an East Coast man who resurrects old warships.
This CTV program is brought to you by Sears Canada.
Hi, welcome back. There's a man in Nova Scotia breathing new life into old warships. Rick Welsford has convinced the Navy to donate 2 former destroyers to good causes. Instead of being turned into scrap metal, the ships are literally full of life. Canadian Living TV's Atlantic reporter Glennie Langell takes it from here.
Rick Welsford has made this dive more than 50 times in the past 3 years. He's checking out the final resting place of the Saguenay. In her prime, her job was to seek and destroy submarines for the Navy. Now the Saguenay is an artificial reef and Nova Scotia's only marine dive park.
It's beautiful down there. It's crystal clear. It's a lot more covered in kelp. There's much more uniform blanket of kelp all across the helicopter deck. And what you're seeing a lot more of now is the dark browns and greens. And it takes a flashlight to restore some of that color. But with the flashlight, of course, you can see some of the brighter invertebrate colors. There's some oranges and reds. And there's a wreath to Jacques Cousteau down there with a little picture of him. I mean, it was fantastic.
Usually, old warships are decommissioned and sold as scrap. They're recycled as razor blades or car parts. But sometimes they can become much more. In the case of the Saguenay, a group of people on the south shore of Nova Scotia, led by Rick Welsford, dreamed of a second life for the ship, underwater. After 2 years of negotiation and work by hundreds of volunteers, in 1993, the Saguenay was deliberately scuttled in Lunenburg Bay. In the first summer, 2,000 divers visited the former warship.
It's fun to see it after a couple of years and to see that it's doing what it was supposed to do.
Rick visits the sunken destroyer often. It's his job to make sure the structure remains safe for divers and doesn't present any navigational hazards. But the success of the sinking of the Saguenay had given him the bug.
But most of the things that make the ship are still here. You know, the compass is still here. We didn't have something like that with Saguenay.
These days, Rick is working on an even more ambitious project. We're aboard the HMCS Fraser.
Life. Everybody who lives in Nova Scotia has somebody at some point who's had some involvement with the Navy. It's just where Nova Scotia is and her role and the location during World War II and the importance of the Navy here. We all have a special place for the Navy.
Once again, the Navy has agreed to donate a ship. This time, the former warship will become a floating museum and much more.
Yeah, we're looking at proposals that range from everything from summertime theater to a bed and breakfast to even a small pub, perhaps. Well, I had a fun comment. I spoke to a former captain of the Fraser and some of his friends, and I was explaining the concept of the bed and breakfast and using the officers' quarters. And his friend turned and he said, well, what do you think about using your gold cabin as a bed and breakfast? He said, well, it always was a bed and breakfast when I was there, so why not? And he didn't mind at all.
The Fraser is the Saguenay's sister ship.
Well, I'll tell you, you'll never find a better example of being able to go to a pre-dive briefing and walk around the ship and then be able to go to her sister ship the next day and go diving on her. There's nothing in the world like this. It's very, very unique.
Ahead is years of work restoring and maintaining the Fraser, raising money for her upkeep, years of unpaid work for Rick. After all, he's a marine biologist, not a curator. What keeps him at it? The challenge.
Pulling it together and then pulling it off, I guess.
And the satisfaction of seeing people explore part of Canada's history.
Well, remember, the life is the people. When the ship's sitting there vacant and not being used, that's why it looks sad. But if you see people using it or visiting it, I think you won't have that feeling anymore.
Rick Welsford, giving old ships new life. For Canadian Living TV, I'm Glennie Langell in Lunenburg.
Actually, Glennie Langell is right here with us in studio. Welcome and thanks for being here.
Well, nice to see you.
Hey, you know, it's finally great to see you. How was your trip out from Halifax?
Lovely.
Was it? So tell me about these ships. They're pretty neat looking. I mean, the fact that the sister ship can be down, the Saguenay can be underwater, and you can examine the Fraser and then take the dive and look for the nooks and crannies is a pretty neat thing.
I hate to admit this, but I didn't go diving.
You know,
I
I'm
don't know
ashamed.
how, but I want to. Aren't those pictures just make you want to?
You know what, truthfully? No. I think I'll go on the sister ship. It's floating museum.
Well, you can go on it when it's a bed and breakfast.
No, yeah, exactly. I'm a little claustrophobic. I don't think so. Tell me about the Fraser, because we really focused a fair amount on the Saguenay. What's the Fraser like?
Well, it's almost identical, of course, except it's above water.
Yeah,
It eventually is going to end up in Bridgewater, which is also on the south shore of Nova Scotia. And it's a long-term project. It may take many years before they have it just the way they want it. But I mean, the part that makes it so neat is you'll be able to dive on one and then go on the other.
What's the feeling on the ship, though, Glennie? What did you feel like when you were on the Fraser? Because there were lots of stories probably tucked away, you know?
Oh, that's exactly it. I mean, Rick made the point that people are the life. And when you walk on that ship sitting on the Halifax waterfront, and I just went, it's so sad. And he said, of course, there's no people here.
Yeah.
You know, all the stories, all the life, you know, people who came of age on that ship, the adventures that were had on it, and they're not there. So it looked abandoned and sad. And that's the joy of the story, is that people will come back to it. And of course, you know, probably the families and the men themselves who served on that ship, and women, of course.
Absolutely. Thanks. It's great having you here.
Well, nice to be here.
Thanks, Glennie. Now to the business of fine-tuning another old relic, my car. My emergency roadside safety kit has jumper cables, but I still need someone to do the clipping. I'm afraid of getting zapped by the current. Race car driver Terry McDonald-Cadieux gives us a little car maintenance boost.
Okay, so you got a dead battery. It's not the end of the world. Just get a boost. Now, let me tell you something. When it comes to boosting batteries, it's really important you do it right. Because today's cars are so sophisticated, not only can you blow up your battery and your computer, but you can blow up the other guy's battery and his computer too. So I'm going to show you the correct engineering way to do it. To be totally safe, both cars off. Turn both radios off and unplug all those gadgets from the cigarette lighters. Now, when you see your booster cables, you'll see a red or orange handle, a black or blue handle. When you see red, think of hot, positive temperatures, places you want to go first. When you see black or blue, think of cold, negative temperatures, places you want to go last. All batteries will have a red post and a positive terminal, a black post and a negative terminal. So, where do you want to go first? Hot temperatures. So you're going to take your red and you're going to hook it onto the red and make sure you get a good solid mount. Place your black down. Now go to the other car with the other cables. Red goes on red, black goes on black. Now come back over and you hook your black up to a ground, which is a piece of metal that's bolted to the frame of the car. 8 to 10, 12 inches away from the battery is a good, safe thing. Now, go over to the car that's starting up, then go over to the dead car. Now, don't just hold the key on going, let it sit for a while. If you're the car giving the boost, get in and give it some gas. No more than 2,500 RPM. Once the car has started, you want to remove the booster cables the opposite way you put them on. So first you're going to disconnect the black. Go over to the other car, disconnect the black, disconnect the red, Put them down safely apart from each other. At no point in time do you want to connect these two together, unless, of course, you want a perm for free. Disconnect the red, then get in your car and drive a good 20 minutes. That way, everything will get recharged. Now, if you find that your battery constantly is going dead, you bring it in for service, get them to check the alternator and the battery at the same time. These two charge off each other. Back to you, Sam.
Thanks, Terry. Just ahead, chickpea soup with a couple of soup lovers, me and Elizabeth.
To you by Lysol Disinfectant Spray.
Smoky sausage, tomato, and chickpea soup. And I see jalapeno peppers in there, too. Are you trying to spice things up again, Elizabeth?
Oh, yeah. Well, you can always spice things up. But if your family doesn't like jalapeno peppers, you can just use a regular mild banana pepper or a sweet pepper, anything you like.
It really does look delicious, though.
Oh, it is a one. Soup, and soup is a great idea for a quick meal, and it's very convenient. A lot of people think the soup takes a long time to cook, but in fact, it's the easiest thing in the world. This soup has a great beginning. It's got smoky sausage, which is made from turkey, but you could use chicken or pork or any other kind of sausage you like. Look for one that's not as fat as...
I was going to say it would be a lower fat.
Yeah, and you can always take the fat off. So I cut it into pieces, and I've let it brown. It's important to let it brown so you get the flavor from the sausage on the bottom of the pan. Those brown bits there are flavor, so we really want to make sure we've got those.
Now, if I use a lower fat sausage, do I need to add a little bit of oil to get the browning going?
Not usually enough. You don't really need to. There's always enough fat in sausage.
Okay.
So then there's some carrot, always onion in a soup. It really does add an enormous flavor. Garlic, and I've got celery, so it's a little bit like a crisper, cleaner, this soup, and it's very easy. These are ingredients that everybody can have in their home, and the jalapeno pepper. Let them stir them around.
The seeds make it hotter, too?
Oh, the seeds are what make the peppers hot, and it's the membranes around it. Then the spices, because this has got a little bit of a, kind of a nice flavor. We want the soup to have, it's got a lot of liquid, so you need lots of flavor from the other ingredients.
And I'm learning from you that you add your spice during the preparation and not after.
Right, because it melds into the other flavors, and it also gets a cooked flavor, a kind of roasted, toasted flavor, not a raw flavor. And I put in coriander, cumin, a little bit of paprika, a little bit of chili powder, and some pepper. You'll notice I haven't put any salt in because the sausage is always salted, and so is the tomatoes. So that's what I've added to this pot. So it's got a 19-ounce can of tomatoes.
So here's the next stage.
And you let it cook for a few minutes, and then you add the stock, and it's 3 cups of stock. If you can find unsalted stock, that's wonderful. And then you can put the chickpeas in, Sam, and I'll do a stir. Sure. And then this just cooks for an hour. And while it's cooking, of course, you can get on and do whatever you want to do. So if you want to play with your son, or if you want to do something, put a load of laundry in, something boring like that, you can do that.
I'd be asking my husband to do that. I'd be ordering things around,
Okay, so it cooks and it's beautiful, and there's a finished bowl over there, but you'll notice that I want to put something special on the top. You can eat it like that, and it's really enjoyable, but something fresh on the top of a soup is really nice.
That's a good idea.
And this is an avocado with some fresh coriander or parsley, and just stir it together and just add a little bit to the middle of the soup.
What is the avocado sitting here?
In a little bit of lime juice. So that keeps it from going brown, and it also adds a lovely flavor to this great soup. Now, have a smell. I think this is a fabulous soup.
Oh, it really does smell good. Will you come to my house and make it for me?
I certainly will.
Okay,
and then there'll be soup on at your house.
That's great. For a copy of today's recipe, send a self-addressed stamped envelope along with the name of the recipe to Canadian Living TV. P.O. Box 7750, Station B, North York, Ontario, M2K 2Z9, or check us out on our website. And that's it for today. See you next time when we turn another page on Canadian Living.
A little lawyer creates big problems for Ally McBeal. On the upside, her love life might improve. On the downside, she could get dragged into a really weird sexual harassment case. Ally McBeal, tonight at 10 on Channel 3.